the Haiti video. Okay, we'll do this
and
first.
Coulter, who we've had on the podcast before.
We'll do this. Get value Tain, and then we'll do the Haiti video.
Are, on a
and
show
then we'll
together.
play Batman
You're doing something
Telltale.
together. And she asked this question. I just want to get your reaction on. Rob, go ahead and play this clip.
That's why I brought on today somebody who I think has some thoughtful perspectives on the future direction of our country, of our conservative movement, and on this question of nationalism and national identity. Somebody who've been fascinated by for a long time.
Can you fast forward to when she says it,
Interacted
Rob?
with on social media, but for the first time we're having
Is it right here?
live form conversation in the offline sense of it. It's Ann Coulter. So Ann, thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I too am a fan of yours, so I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Just skip over the racism.
But first of all, did you know she was? Because it seems like when you guys are starting, there's a little bit of tension. I don't know if there was like pre-getting started where there was tension or not.
Oh, you're pretty good at picking that up, man. So actually, so to give you the context here. So I ran this podcast during the presidential campaign. It was called Truth.
Yeah.
I took some time off after the campaign, and now, getting back in the swing of things. So we relaunched the Truth podcast, just relaunched it officially last week. So, get that up on the ground. We'd have good conversations.
Right.
And I wanted to pick on some people who had.
Okay, Patrick Bet David acknowledges the existence of racism because he's awesome. Okay? Because he calls balls and strikes. That's why. That's it. And you guys don't recognize it and you don't appreciate it for all the valuetainment that he puts forward.
Had poked me a little bit on social media or in other ways to be able to, it's kind of boring to just talk about everybody who agrees with the same thing.
Right.
But let's get a little bit of tension from the left, from the right. So I'll bring Ann Coulter on because during the campaign, I don't remember what exactly she said, but on numerous instances would comment on different ways in which I might not be quite qualified to be president, right? So let's get her on and have a conversation.
Yeah, he also has probably been called Indian before and has experienced anti-brown racism as someone who was perceived as an Indian man or something. So I suspect that plays a role in this as well. It's like a deep and personal issue for him.
And both of us are interested in the theme of nationalism. I did not expect she would just kick it off right there, get right into the business. And I think it actually made for a really good conversation, believe it or not. Of course, I disagree with hell like her on that being a criteria to be the U.S. president is her description of whether or not you're an Indian. I'm born in the United States. I'm as American as they come. But I thought it actually formed a really strong basis for an honest conversation that we otherwise don't have. Because her view is that in order to actually be a U.S. president, you got to be even more American, right? So you're not fully American if your parents weren't from the United States of America. And in order to trust somebody, the more generations they've been here, let's say you've been here 6 or 7 generations, you have more of what she would call, I think she did call it in the podcast, a security policy. It's like an insurance policy that that if you're going to put somebody in that high office, at least you know that they've really soaked up what it means to be American. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that because you have people in the 7th generation Americans who are the kids of some, I've known many of these people, grow up in the Upper East Side. Some daughter who lives in Brooklyn thinks she's a hippie, talks about hating this country. Well, I don't think that person's any more American than I am just because my parents happen to have been legal immigrants to this country.
So I got 2 questions for you.
But it made for a good conversation.
I got 2 questions for you with this, okay? On one end, how many people you think are if you were to say, of the voters block, what percentage of the voter block agrees with her?
So say in the Republican primary?
In the Republican primary to say, you know what, I'm not going to, even if it's 1%, 2%, 3%, what do you think it is?
So I will tell you this with confidence.
Sorry, my brother is literally on the fucking gate, on the gate cam, not letting me fucking access the gate cam while there's a package at the fucking door and I'm trying to open the door, but because he's hogging the fucking gate. Anyway, it's just random, irrelevant. That's why I'm fucking yelling. Yo, that's insane. It's like watching a Jewish person justifying Nazis. I mean, dude, if you are a visibly brown person and you're running for the Republican Party, there are going to be openly fucking antagonistic people against you. And you just have to kind of eat there. You just kind of have to sit there and eat it. There's not really much you can do about it.
It is a lot higher than I believed it was a year ago.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's a lot higher than I believe you would think it is, too.
Interesting.
Which is why, and I said this on social media, and some people hit me on the left from it, I said I respect her for saying it, even though I disagree. Right? Because at least she has the spine to say in public what many other people, not a majority, not even close to a majority, but a lot of people. She's not a...
Yeah, right, dude. Shut the fuck up. It's because she's a conservative. That's it. You literally would not even waste a moment chirping at some fucking Democrat that you even suspect of saying something that you can manipulate into claiming it's racist. That's it. You're a fucking dog for the racists. And they treat you like what? Well, they treat you worse than a dog because white women love dogs. So a dog would be not the best analogy here.
Alone. She is voicing a view that I think is widespread. And, you know, actually, what the hell? We're here. We're just going to...
It's so funny because he's literally verbatim going through the steps of things that I personally described to you about Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay? Remember when we were talking about like, oh, dude, like he's doing 4chan Groyper statements and whatnot. And I told you, there is never going to be a man with the last name Ramaswamy on a ticket next to the last name Trump. Americans are far too fucking racist for it. And now he's fucking turned around and is like defending Ann Coulter's right to be racist or some shit.
You're going to let loose a little bit. I had somebody text me who had run for position. You guys might know her, Harmeet Dillon. You know Harmeet Dillon?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Harmeet's super cool, so I hope she's fine with me saying this because I think it's important that the public know. We can't...
I think this is like... This will even cause like reactionary American Indians, and I don't mean like Native Americans, like Indians that live in America, some of which are very reactionary, as we've talked about before, like the BJP supporters in America. Even they will look at Vivek in this circumstance and lose their shit. Okay, so he's losing that aspect as well. Because at the end of the day, okay, Modi supporting Indians living in America still very much get disrespected by white supremacists and racists, okay? So they recognize it. They know exactly what that was. So for him to turn around and fucking run cover for those people, unacceptable.
Just have these conversations behind closed doors, not having them in the open. Said that when she ran for her position of being the chairwoman of the RNC, she had many people tell her the same thing too, which is interesting to me because most of the grassroots was, you know, a lot of the grassroots were with me, a lot of grassroots were with people like Harmeet, but there are people who believe that if you're electing people to positions of leadership, how American you are is a spectrum.
When you were out there campaigning, did anybody face you, confront you, and say, I would totally support you, but you're too brown for me? Did anyone say
So
it?
I had many of those for religion. So I didn't have anybody come up and say that because...
Another thing I fucking called! Which is like the easiest lock, dude. Yeah, they're going to be like, yeah, you don't believe in Christianity.
Well, there were people on social media who would make an argument. It wasn't on ethnicity. And this is part of Ann's point, too. It's the point that your parents were immigrants to this country. And so you are truly not at the highest level of being American to be president of the United States.
Right.
So we had a number of people that would say that occasionally. A much more common one, though, for people...
Bro's jumping through fucking hoops.
To my face.
You're talking to a dude who's also a second generation brown guy, okay? The fuck do you mean?
Was, I would love to vote for you. It's difficult for me to vote for somebody else because I agree with you more. but I can't do that because you are Hindu. That came up a lot, especially in Iowa.
Even the town hall when we did, somebody asked you. One of the ladies got up and
remember that? I remember
they
that
asked
too.
you the question, but I thought your answer was fantastic.
But I remember her. She was. I was standing on stage. She was standing right there, very thoughtful.
Yes.
I don't think she was in the category of saying I can't vote for you.
No, she didn't say
She
that.
asked a very legitimate question.
She did.
She said, tell me about your faith.
That's right.
Because if you're running for president, I got to know who you are.
Right.
And if your faith is important to you, then in order to know who you are, I got to know your faith. That's different from, I'm telling you though, I will face people in Iowa. There's a pastor in Iowa who wrote an extensive Facebook post. I spent 2 hours with him on the back of a bus talking it through, and he still came out on the other side. He said, if it is God's will for you to be the U.S. president, I will accept it.
Respect.
Law, brown guy. Brown guy.
But I can't vote for you myself because I can't vote for somebody who doesn't share my.
Let me stay on this here. So first of all, if strategically, I don't know if Ann Coulter wants to sell you some product that Sammy Sosa used. I don't know if you're familiar with Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa actually,
he whitened his skin. Yeah, the skin whitener.
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
Has,
I didn't know that. I know he's a good baseball.
He used what Michael Jackson
actually,
used.
if you're interested,
No, this is real.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, in a weird way, like, obviously I fucking resent racist pieces of shit. But like Vivek sitting there trying to defend all of the racist things that he is receiving directly from the racist pieces of shit that he's trying to cozy up to is just like, what are you doing, brother? It's like, yeah, that's crazy. Ha ha ha. Yeah, they said I'm Indian. I'm too Indian to be American. And I get what they're saying. Ha ha ha.
It's a real story.
Even Patrick Bet Davis being like, bro, you're such a cuck.
This is not made up.
He got his skin to be lighter, so you can go couple shade, lighter. Rob, I don't know why you're laughing. I'm trying to make a solution here to make Ann happy.
I'm not going to be a customer. I'm sorry. But
He was
so, by the way, this guy hits
Why? He's laughing.
66 home runs, and he saved MLB in 1998. Let me go back to the question here with this one here. Okay, what do you think is more extreme? And tell me how your argument is on the other side. So one side, you know what? I don't think America, because, back in the days, what was JFK was, Tom, you said Roman Catholic? It was a Roman Catholic where America
those were the headlines.
Yeah, he was white, though, big dog. Come on. What is this conversation that we're having? Yeah, he's still white, though.
When Nixon was running, it's a Roman Catholic.
We're not ready for a Roman Catholic president. Okay, and then America said, nah, we're okay with it, right?
We're actually cool with that, yeah.
Okay, we're actually cool with that. Do you think, give me which of these are more extreme. So do you think Ann Coulter's position of saying, no, not only do I want you to be a natural-born citizen, but I also want you to be white, to be a true nationalist, to be a president here. How about the opposite side? What about somebody that wasn't born here but has lived here for 35 years?
Yeah.
Should this person have the right to run for office one day in America? If they've paid their taxes, they've paid their dues, they've lived in America for 35 years, should they have the chance to run for office?
Should they have the chance to run for U.S. president? No. You want to know why? Because the Constitution says so. So if you want to change the Constitution. And would you have 2/3 of this country and 2/3 of the state ratify that? That's a separate conversation.
Right.
But what the Constitution says now is you have to be a natural-born citizen.
Sure.
And a natural-born citizen, as it's ever been read by courts, as it's ever been read through American history for the last century and a half, is you're born in the United States of America. And so I think the Constitution is a beautiful thing. We don't have to relitigate these questions every generation. Then go with what the Constitution actually says.
Then if Ann Coulter is watching, maybe Ann Coulter wants to amend the Constitution and say, naturally born white citizen, right?
Yeah. See,
with a skin tone that is, maybe put tears in the skin tone to please Ann Coulter. What do you think? I'm just trying to get some creative ideas here.
Biden's father's father are all born in America. I would much rather vote for somebody like this than somebody that's family's been here and ain't doing shit.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another.
Wow, somebody like this fucking brown guy over here, okay? Bro, he's born here. Like, what are we doing? What is this conversation? That's crazy. How has the conversation moved on? Oh, God. It's just, I can't do this. You give even a second. If you entertain this even for a brief second, these guys immediately move the fucking needle. Hello, HasanAbi. Yesterday I asked a question about why you support Hamas, and you and your chat kept calling me right-wing, colonialist, Nazi. I used to like you, but I don't know why you and your viewers are so aggressive. As a leftist myself, I don't know how your community is almost as dangerous as right-wing supporters. I don't know how you are. Here we go again. Here we go again. I don't know if we'll have time to watch the Metropolis anime. Brother. Oh. You're right. We are, as a community, as dangerous as the right-wing Nazis. You're right. Totally. You know, for believing that Palestinians deserve emancipation, a right to defend themselves, a right to statehood and sovereignty. This places us right there with the Nazis who wanted to ethnically cleanse anyone and everyone that was not a part of the neat little in-group that they had cultivated over inalienable characteristics. Yes, dangerous. We edit Wikipedia, apparently. Yeah. I know. I am so dangerous. I dangerously believe that all people, no matter what their political opinions are, deserve emancipation, dignity, health care, educational opportunities. You're very right. I want to cover this Dr. Yaqub thing, but I mean, we can try and watch it. I just don't know. It's an hour and 47 minutes long. You know what I mean? This is why people get mad when you yell at D great names, by the way. It cuts out fun stream content. For those of you who don't know, Metropolis is an anime from 2001 that apparently talks about capitalism, fascist decay, and automation directed by capital owners, creating more economic instability and volatility, which then leads to fascist reinstatement of order. The anime is based on, I believe, a silent movie from 1927. By the way, if there's a dubbed version of it, I would watch it. There is a dubbed version. If you send me the dubbed version, I'd rather watch that one. Hell no, dub sucks. No, shut up. It's for accessibility, guys, please. And I'm sure the dub probably doesn't suck. It's a fucking movie, okay? Do we have a dub?